Hey everyone, welcome to episode number 1 of the Gypsy Spliffs Podcast. In this episode, I interview good friend and health practitioner Melissa Sterling. Melissa has a very intriguing story. Years ago, she sustained a very traumatic head injury that left her unable to walk, talk, drive, or do pretty much any other daily activity. It was through this injury, however, that she was able to develop a 7-step process that she used to heal herself. She later took this process and now teaches it to her clients. She shares that with us today on the podcast. If you like this episode, please click the like button below. And if you'd like to see more episodes like this in the future, please click subscribe. Hope you enjoy. So I really just wanted to, thank you so much, Melissa, for making the time for me and my friends and my family. First of all, I've been so intrigued with your story, your health and healing journey. And I think anyone who meets you or knows you is always intrigued by how you got to where you got today. And I know it wasn't a direct line. There's a lot that goes into it. So would you mind sharing a little bit of your journey and what you've learned along the way?
Thank you so much, Melissa. I really appreciate, just even being here and being able to speak to you in a way that you can understand me because, as you know, and I'm going to share with everyone today, is I've, like many of us, have gone through a healing journey, and mine was sort of a latent physical injury. So I was, going along in my life, feeling successful, feeling good, feeling like everything was right, but I really needed a course correction. So the universe took care of that course correction for me by way of a semi truck. That was the first incident or accident that I encountered. And miraculously, I walked away from that accident without a scratch, which is unbelievable based on the state of the vehicle and everything that happened in the accident. I just walked away.
Yeah.
But I wasn't feeling that great. And my friend offered to take me down to the States and rest and relax and recover in Scottsdale, Arizona. So I fly down to Scottsdale, and a week later, since the first incident, I'm going down 8 o'clock in the morning. It's a Monday morning. I am in an elevator with my avocado and my book, and the ceiling of the elevator falls on my head. And I don't know what's happening. I don't realize that I'm being, in there for, I don't even know how long. One of the guests found me and the paramedics came, and I remember watching the experience and watching myself be treated, slumped over in a chair by the paramedics. And the next thing I remember, I'm in the ambulance trying to communicate with this paramedic who is now putting some sort of needle into my arm. And I think that he could tell from my expression that I was terrified, and I'm telling him, no, I don't want drugs, but I'm sounding like rah, 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 like not being able to speak and enunciate. And he read my mind, and he said, don't worry, it's just saline. And I relaxed and calmed down. And when I came to again, I was in the hospital, and they were putting me in for a CAT scan or an MRI or something in a big machine to check the damage in my mind, or in my, I guess you can't check the damage in the mind, but in my head and in my brain.
Yeah.
And that's really what started my healing journey. Being so mindful of it. Now, I had a bit of an advantage. I'd been working in health and wellness for many, many years. I was working in a preventative medical clinic where we literally help people get off drugs or medications and help them grow their health. And the doctor I worked with was a specialist. And so she would look at all aspects of the person, their blood, their urine, their lifestyle, their cells, their symptoms, their issues, their goals, and put together a program to support them going from where they were today to where they wanted to go. And so I sort of became that bridge builder, because I would bridge build and I would translate and I would help people and I would life coach and I would literally walk them hand in hand, step from where they were to where they wanted to go. And so now that I was in the situation where I was the patient, I was stuck because the traditional medical treatments that I tried, they made me feel worse and not better. I didn't feel served by that community. I knew that it wasn't for me. But I really felt, because my injury was latent, like you couldn't look at me and tell there was a problem. You had to actually speak to me or wonder what I was saying or watch me walk around. I couldn't drive, I couldn't navigate, I couldn't enunciate. I couldn't even really think clearly. Somebody would invite me to go somewhere and I'd be packing a bag, and 5 hours later I'd still be packing the same bag, and I'm like, what am I doing? I don't even know where I'm going. What's happening right now? I literally had to write notes to remind me whether I was going to the airport, whether I was going to my mom's, whether I was going to an appointment. I was at that stage of disorder that I didn't really know what was happening. And so I finally one day decided that if I was going to get better, I needed to take things into my own hands. I needed to have a process. I needed to be able to get myself out of the mindset where I was just busy doing all the things that weren't working. And that's where I came up with a 7-step process that worked for me. And I've since used it with hundreds and thousands of people. And it's just so basic and simple that I think most people miss it. They think that this needs to be miraculous or hard or challenging. And it is all those things, but it can also be simple. And so when I work with people and when I work with myself, the first thing I focus on is breathing and really coming to that calm and centered place, and being in that space of, just being with myself. And the reason I start with that is because what I've experienced is that when I'm good with my breath and when I'm on point with that, and when that's a tool I carry in my kit, I can use it anywhere. It is a tool I have with me at all times, every day, every moment of my life. I'm always with my breath. And if I can use it for my advantage, I feel like I have the up and up. So that's the first thing that I use. And I'm happy to go through the rest of the 7 steps with you. I just want to give you the opportunity to comment or ask me a question to keep me on track.
Well, I always share my experience with my friends and my family and anyone that I talk to about breath work, the classes that I've attended of yours, and how there was such a noticeable shift in such a short period of time. And literally all we're doing is breathing, and to feel something that there's so noticeably a change that just through breathing, it's a bit of it takes kind of back our power. And what you said about these things being they are so simple, it doesn't mean it's easy, because it's like we've been conditioned away from these very simple, natural things that we have within our body, right? That we forget that the thing that is the most important is just breathing, and how grounding that is and how healing that can be. So I've loved your classes. I recommend them to everyone. When I know I don't want to go off track here, but you do have a breathwork class is it Tuesday?
Yeah, so I have 2 breathwork classes every week. The one on Tuesday is online. It's available on Zoom. It's free to register. And so anybody anywhere can contact me for that. I also do a private one with a friend of mine in Calgary on Thursdays at 4 p.m. So we do a low impact workout and a breathwork session. We do it live in person at a private location. So we don't give out that information unless somebody is personally invited to the private location. Then we provide them that address, just so that it's a very private invite only group. And it allows people the freedom to come in person, so that I can actually watch them in person and offer them some, a little touch to their heart chakra, or help them with the angle of their legs to get the maximum benefit from the exercise. But you're exactly right, Melissa. What we're doing here is helping people connect to their innate intelligence, their ancient wisdom of their body. And it's not so much that I'm teaching anybody anything or that they're learning. We're just creating that space for them to remember this technique and for them to capitalize on its benefit. And it's really just them breathing by themselves. That's why we can do it online. People can join from the comfort and safety of their own space anywhere in the world. I've had people join from Asia. It's 3 a.m. for them when they're doing this, but they wake up, they set their timer, they do it with us in a live group. We do offer recordings also for people who want to do it more than once a week or people who want to do it at a different time slot. But you guys, there's a beauty and a benefit of connecting in community and being part of the group. And even though you're breathing in your own space and everybody else is breathing in their own space, we're still literally breathing together. And there is a magic and there is a power of spirit in that activity. And so I really, really love the Tuesday online breathing class.
There is, and that's been my experience for sure. Would you mind going through your process, your 7-step process? I think that is so powerful, and for people to keep note of that and refer back to it. I know I thought it was very nice to just have those little reminders of the basics. Could you share that with us?
Absolutely. And you guys, I'm going to, closer to the end of this, I'll give you my phone number. And so if you're looking to contact me, you can text me. And I actually have a little image with all of these 7 steps on them. So if you're interested in having like a little reminder that you can have on your phone, just go ahead and text me. I'm happy to share that. But like I said, the first one, and there's a specific reason they're in this order. And if you're interested in this, I do talks on it every week on Clubhouse. We go through them all over and over and over again because it's very simple, but it might seem a lot at once. So just let it come through and let whatever stick out to you. But the first one is breathing, and that helps us connect into our safety, our security, our grounding. It's the number one thing where we literally claim our right to live. So that's the first one with breathing, oxygenating our cells. You know, we all are very aware in our society of certain conditions or dis-ease or disorder that thrive in an oxygen deficient environment. Once we have an oxygen rich environment, these things that are a detriment to us, they have a tough time surviving and thriving. And so if we can cut them off, if we have lots of oxygen in our body, right? Especially with our heart working and pumping the oxygen through our body, we get a sense of feeling better with more energy. And so we can do that just with our breathing. The number 2 step is hydration. And you'll notice when I stop talking, I'm always drinking my water. You won't find me without my water bottle. You might find me without my jacket. You might find me without my purse, but you don't find me without my water bottle because this is a necessity for me. It's so true. It's absolutely true. And we need to hydrate ourselves. And a lot of people think when they get into this healthy lifestyle or wellness routine, or they're going to do some healing, that they need to exercise and eat right.
Right.
Yes, you do. But if you're not breathing and you're not drinking water, good luck, right?
Right.
People are they literally think, oh, I need to go do this. I need to go do that. No, what you need to do is prepare yourself to do those things, right? If you were already ready to do those things, you'd already be doing them. So let's back up a few steps here. Let's not put the horse before the cart. We need to put the horse in front of the cart so that we can pull the cart. And this is how you do that, is by breathing and hydrating. And once we get that into our system, because the breathing is our grounding, the hydration is our creativity and flow. And here's the thing, you guys, you cannot drive a boat down a dry river. Nutrients need to be flowed in your body. Toxins need to be flowed out of your body. And if you don't have enough hydration and flow, nothing is going nowhere. It doesn't matter what you put into your body. It's not going to do you any good. And then you're going to be even more frustrated because all the things that you're trying to do for yourself are not working. And you're going to think that there's something wrong with you or you have bad genetics. No, you're doing good things in the wrong order. It's not going to give you the most maximum benefit. So we breathe, we drink water, then we nourish ourselves. And we nourish ourselves with proper food, allowing ourselves to digest properly. There's a whole thing around food combining and what sort of nutrients we need. But we also, guys, in 2021, we can literally seek out the best food, the most organic food, all the leafy green vegetables, all the things we're supposed to eat for wellness is what we do most of the time. But the transportation process and the way they farm these things, it degrades the soil of nutrients. And when the soil is degraded, the food can't have it. So the truth about it is that we are designed by nature to run on nutrients and minerals and vitamins and all those good things. And the delivery system for that is supposed to be food. But with all the degrading happening with the transportation and the soil and the farming practices and all the extra additives that's put into everywhere coming at us from all angles, we need to supplement. We need to support ourselves with supplementation. And so I rely on different supplements. You know, when people will, what is the number one nutrient that people need? Well, the number one nutrient that people need is the nutrient that they're deficient in. So we can't give a blanket answer.
Right.
You know, I have, and I'll talk about this after the 7 steps, but I have a you know, one, you know, supplement that I think everybody needs, right? There's a couple of things, but this is where you need to contact me so that we can look at your specific goals and we can set you out in a program that meets your needs, that meets your goals, that meets your budget, that's going to give you what you need to get to that next level. And so we not only need to look at our food we're eating, but we need to look at everything around that. What kind of mindset are you in when you go to the grocery store? Are you chewing your food? Do you even know if that's important? Like, there are so many things, and what can you look for, right? Do you have a habit of knowing what your poop looks like? Right? Maybe you don't even know what's happening because you've never investigated that part of your process. So we need to look at different areas, and you might think you have an XYZ problem, but you have no problem with that. It's actually ABC over here. And so that's where we need the personal connection. We need to have a conversation and learn from other people's experiences. Like, the nourishment part is really, really important. That's our power. It's our confidence. It's our sense of humor. It's our leadership. It's our mental clarity. And when I say that to people, they're like, I thought you were talking about the belly. Yeah. The belly is the start of the mental clarity, right? If we have a good operating gut, we have a better chance at a good operating brain. It moves up. And so then we move into our 4th step, which is grateful movement. And there's a reason that grateful movement is step 4 and not step 1, right? Because if we're going to move our body, we need to prepare. We need to breathe. We need to drink water. We need to have the nourishment in our body so that we have the actual physical energy and kinetic energy. And, you know, once we breathe and drink water and nourish ourselves, we actually feel like we can, and then we do. And we start out slow with whatever, modify. We are grateful. What can our bodies do? Right? No use thinking about what we could do in high school or what we did in our college days, or at one time we ran a marathon. No use thinking about that. What we want to do is, what can I do today? How can I get to my edge? How can I push myself 1% over my edge? Right? No one's getting hurt pushing themselves 1% over their edge. That's not how it happens. So we just incrementally get ourselves. And if we're moving into our, you know, our chakras, we have our grounding with our breath, our sacral hydration, creativity, flow with our sacral chakra, power, confidence with our belly. And as we move up to the heart, the grateful movement, it makes sense. There was a list I found, and it said the number 1 career choice for longevity is orchestra conductor, right? What are these people doing? They're conducting the orchestra. They're breathing. So we got oxygen. We got all the movement really centered around the heart. And so we really want to focus on being mindful and grateful so our heart is at ease. When our heart is not at ease, we experience dis-ease.
Yes.
Or the state of not being at ease. And we hear about this in our society. It's one of the leading causes of death. And if it's not death, it's causing disaster and dysfunction, whether that be in our interpersonal relationships, our self-relationships, the way that we see ourselves in this world. It's all the same thing. And so when we be grateful for what we can do and we push ourselves a little bit, we get better, we get healthier, and our bodies are able to move even more. So our heart center, our love, our trust, our surrender goes with our heart, goes with our movement. And we need to really be grateful about that and show a lot of gratitude for what we can do. As we move up, we move to our 5th step. And our 5th step is our throat chakra, and it's our communication and our intention and purpose. And it's about the way that we speak ourselves into the world. And what I experience is there's a lot of people out there who receive information in through their ears and it goes out through their mouth. And it's not really them, right? They're just sort of parroting what's going around. It can sound really smart and it can be very true, but it's not really them, right? And so what I like to do is I like to pull from the bottom. I pull from the ground. I pull from my sacral. I pull from my power center. I pull from my heart, and I let the true essence of me come out in my communication, because that's really me, right? So it's like, it takes more work, but then it's really true. It's really my purpose. It's not my parroting, which comes in the ears and out the mouth. And so the activity that I really work on with this is cleansing, detoxing, decluttering, whether it's relationships, whether it's the garage, whether it's underneath the kitchen sink, whether it's habits, whether it's something I'm listening to or participating in that isn't in alignment with my highest best good, which isn't supporting the life I'm creating, the best version of me that I'm wishing to become. It's time to go. And so I need to detox a lot of those things, right? And sometimes it's as easy as, washing off the day in the shower, right? That could just be the cleanse I need for 5 minutes. And sometimes it's 3 days of a juice fast. And so there's no real right way to detox and declutter. It's just, what do you need today, and what do you have access to, and what do you have time for, and where's your commitment level? So we just have to do what we can. And that looks different for all of us, and it can look different on every day. As we move up from this place, we get into our third eye chakra, which is really our perception, our intuition, equanimity, calmness of the mind. We can't have perception, equanimity, calmness of the mind if we haven't come from the bottom, if we don't pull our energy through us so that we can really see the world as it is and not how we are, right? Because we see the world from our eyes. We think we see what is, but we don't. We see the world how we are. And when we get to the point of the calmness of the mind, where do we get that ability? Resting, relaxing, sleeping, recovering, allowing ourselves the freedom to be in that space of rest. And, a lot of people are much better at being busier than they are at being restful, even though, logic would tell me it's easier to rest than it is to work. No, it is not. It is easier for most people to work than it is to rest because of our programming, because of our lifestyle, society, culture, all those things. And so we work on resting. And you might, oh yeah, Melissa, I sleep every night, I can rest. Well, there might be some things that we can work on, because of all the people I've worked with, nobody has come perfect in the resting category, and every one of us can improve. So
I think definitely from this society, that's we all need to be working on all of the steps. So much of what you said resonates with me, especially the program to be working out and how I used to be. And now, our lives have been shifted. Our lives have all been dismantled. And now it's we really need to come back to these foundations of wellness. The one thing that I keep trying to research is sending and ways and how to send a signal of safety to my nervous system. And that, from what I've been reading and researching, that's the ultimate environment of healing. It sends a physiological message to our body to create this beautiful orchestra of healing and health and detoxification and all of that. But if I'm not drinking water or breathing, and there's so many times, even sitting in front of the screen right now, this is all new for me. I'm breathe. Don't forget to breathe, right? If I'm not doing those things, those are the preparatory things for movement, intentional movement. And I love how you said with gratitude, because how many times, especially in the past, have we found ourselves, I have to go to the gym. Well, I think right now, if I could even go to the gym, how grateful I would be just for that. Or I have to go for a run. The fact that our bodies can even do that is such a blessing and such a gift. So I love that intentional movement and coming up from this root chakra area where I think we've all struggled with past traumas and things of that nature. So that is just something for myself, I want to write down and really be mindful of those foundations. And then the parroting part and not speaking from our essence, who we are. I think I've been unschooling myself, especially this last year. It's been a process of unschooling. And every day I'm doing that, and it's not comfortable. It's simple, but it's a lot of work. So yeah, I'm really excited to just revisit all of these and keep coming back to these foundations, because I think that we've really lost touch with that, and we've been told healing is outside of us. But all of the things that you've listed, they're all pretty much within us. And I mean, even coming back to the food piece, although that's outside of our body, when we're in a good place, I think mentally, and we've done all of those things, we've breathed, we've drank our water, we're intentional and we're moving, we're probably going to make like a better decision, right? Like I feel like I'll make a better decision. I'll be drawn to something that's better for me, probably because I've also listened to myself. And I think the process that you've outlined really sets up this channel for people to listen intuitively to what it is that their body really needs.
Absolutely, Melissa. And that leads us into, you're right, everything is literally within us as we move through the 6 stages. And then we hit the 7th stage, which is our crown chakra, which is our unity, which is our bliss, which is where the miracles occur. And this is where we connect in community and serve our community. And again, just like people, it's easier for them to work than it is for rest. It's easier for people to give than it is for them to receive. And so, you know, everybody we talk to, especially in the healing community, especially the loving and caring people that I deal with on a regular basis, they're always thinking about, how can I help my friend, my cousin, my daughter, my parent, my spouse, my neighbor, whatever. And the last person they're thinking about should be their first priority, is themselves. And so I really deter people away from serving their community until they've served themselves through these first 6 stages. In fact, I didn't even add the community piece until I was ready to start teaching this program.
Right.
I was solely focused on myself and my own healing to prepare myself in a manner in which I was able to go out and speak. I was able to offer support for people. How am I going to offer support to people when I can't even find myself? I can't even drive. I can't even talk. I can't even walk. What kind of contribution do I have? Right? An inability to contribute. And so this is where we also need to surround ourselves with like minds and supportive people, is because there is a magic of being a part of a social community, a supportive community where we interact and love and support each other, and where we keep each other accountable. It's a really, really important factor. And so as we get into that space where we connect in community, this is where I really encourage people to find out what they love to do and then find out how to get paid for that. Right? We got to quit. Just like you're saying, you're unschooling yourself. When you go through the process of schooling, you're really in training to learn how to get a job. And a lot of us are learning that we don't want jobs, right? We want to contribute in society. We want to share our gifts. We want to help others, but we need to do that from a full cup. We can't do that from an empty place. And so I really encourage and invite people to work on the first things of themselves. And when they're full and ready and have extra to give, then that's when we serve our community. And that's because then we're not serving from a half full cup, right? We're not going to run out of juice. We have something that takes us to the end. And the one thing, so you asked me the question about what is the one thing that we can do to elicit a central nervous system response so we can bring ourselves back to center, so we can calm ourselves down. It brings me right back to step 1. And I'll just tell you the reason I even came up with this process is because I was in a speech pathologist appointment. I went to see her sometimes 3 times per week for my healing. And I remember this particular day, I was so frustrated with myself. I'd been going here for many months already. I went to the address, but I went in the wrong quadrant of the city. So instead of going down in the southeast, I was somewhere in the northeast in the industrial, and nothing looked right for me. So I was already late for my appointment. Yeah, right. Late for my appointment. I was frustrated with myself. I was so frustrated with myself that I couldn't even literally speak to this woman. I couldn't get this stuff to come out of my body. And so I'm writing it down for her. And she reads it, and I remember her. She just looked at me and she's like, what business do you have being frustrated with yourself? You had a head injury, like this big thing hit your head. And I was like, yeah, now I'm frustrated. Now I'm emotional. And now you're telling me I can't be emotional? She's like, no, I'm not telling you can't be emotional. I'm saying, what business do you have being frustrated with yourself? You have a physical injury. Just let your body heal and then be frustrated with yourself. And I realized that I was trying to do things out of order. I was trying to get my emotions and my mindset right, instead of just giving myself permission to work on my physical body. And so in addition to these 7 steps, which I taught myself, as soon as I feel frustrated, as soon as I feel triggered, I'm not supposed to figure anything out. I'm not supposed to manage my emotions. I'm not supposed to connect to my higher power because that didn't work for me. Like what am I supposed to do? I guess maybe breathing is connecting to the highest power, but I would go right to step 1 and I would go like this. I would go 2 inhales and then 1 exhale. And then once I did it a couple of times, I would do it in through my nose because I couldn't always do it in through my nose twice. That's how we're supposed to do it, but I couldn't always do it at the beginning like that. So I would go. And once I literally felt myself come down, then I go seek out water. And I would put love into my water because water has memory and the water has emotions. And I would just say, I love you. Thank you. Please nourish me. And I would drink the water and then I would feel myself come down even more. And then I would give myself a task of, okay, let's find a healthy snack, right? Do I have an apple? Can I get some walnuts? Like, can I make a protein shake? Where's some vitamins? Like, give myself some nutrients that my body can assimilate and utilize and be nourished by. Right? And then I would be like, okay, what's step 4? Okay, I need to go for a walk. Maybe I need to do some planks. Maybe I need to do 10 jumping jacks, whatever it was for me. Sometimes I would not feel any energy and my exercise would literally be sitting in the chair, standing up from the chair, sitting in the chair, standing up from the chair. And I would just do that. And after I did that for maybe 10 times, I moved my body a little bit. Then I would clean something up or get rid of something, clean the dishes, whatever. Then I would rest and sleep. And if those things worked, then I felt better. And if I really those things didn't work, then what I would do is call a friend. And then I would tell them about whatever happened and then I would feel better. But I've gone through the process of breathing, drinking water, finding something nourishing, doing some movement, cleaning something up, resting. How better do you feel if you sleep on it, right? I'm not going to make a good decision today. I'm going to sleep on it, wake up in the morning and then see how I feel, right? That's just how I work. And then call a friend. And so the process that I share with people is exactly the process that I use, and literally entering ourselves into that central nervous system relaxed place is as easy as breathing in and just do it. If you're watching this video, just do it. Just go 2 quick inhales, 1 exhale, and just feel yourself come down. Like you can literally feel it in your body, wherever it feels for you, you'll feel yourself relax. And then you can make a decision on what's going next. And when she taught me that, when I realized that and started to implement it in my daily life, I no longer worried about being emotional or frustrated or triggered or connected to a spiritual power, judging myself as a good person, any of that kind of stuff. I was like, just working on my physical. So I worked on my physical. And then once I felt like I was in a good place, then I would work on emotional, mental, and spiritual, because I was like, my physical body can handle this now. Before, it could not handle it. I cannot handle being in a great mindset if my body is on fire or incapable, right?
It's that capacity piece. And yeah. I know those are words I got and messages I got from Desiree, our friend, who speaks about being at capacity. We can't work from a place where we haven't even met our most fundamental needs. It's like a hierarchy, right? So how am I going to be a good employee, be a good partner, be a good mother, help out in my community if I haven't met my own needs, if I'm already at capacity? And I think that's where so many people are at and not really recognizing it, right? And so I love this formula that you've come up with, this sacred formula, because it's something I'm going to really write down and be like a checklist. And I think I need that because sometimes I will get emotional. I will spin out. I will, and I will let that kind of take over, and I'm not able to think. I'm not able to.
We try to figure it out, but we can't figure it out. We need to get out of that and refocus ourselves. And that's where the 7 steps comes in, is when you get triggered, when you get emotional, when you get frustrated, don't try to figure it out. You're not in the right, you don't have the capacity to figure it out. Go breathe, go drink water. That's where your capacity needs to be directed.
And I hope that's really the message I know I'm going to take from this. And I really hope other people can really take from this because it's free. And I love how you brought up supplementation, because I know there's different schools of thought and people saying you should be able to get it all from food. And I'm a proponent of supplements. And I do agree with you. Food isn't what it was 40, 50 years ago. But the argument aside of, oh, I need to spend money on this and it's expensive. Yes, there are things that it's nice. And if you do have that extra income, and you can, by all means. And for the people who are just starting out in a wellness journey or are on a budget right now, there's still so much at your disposal that's free, that's within you. And then these things I feel set us up to be more clear-minded and to find those solutions in our lives. And I think that's another thing too, is so many people are not just at capacity with their health, but at capacity with their family, their finances, their careers. And it's all tied together. If we're well and we're clear-headed, then we can start navigating ourselves out of these sticky situations. In addition to, we start building out our communities, which I think is such an important piece right now, and the piece that I think a lot of people are missing, because that's been shaken for them a little bit. And now it's coming back to the people who have information, can support us, can hold our hand and remind us, hey, breathe, just breathe. It's all you have to do right now. And I've been so grateful to go through hard times and to have friends to say, you don't have to do anything right now. You don't have to be anything right now. You just have to breathe. That's it. And so I want to thank you for sharing that with us. And it's kind of like something we can all put in our pockets. And the next time this happens, something gets triggered, some situation happens, always come back to our breath and then start going through the steps.
So it's nice that you bring that up, Melissa, because there is a cost to wellness, but there's also a cost to sickness, right? I remember sitting with somebody who was at our clinic, and he was doing all these treatments because he was very, very sick. And he said, I think that if I knew it was going to be so difficult to manage my medical appointments and do all my treatment schedule and all these things, and this guy had the money to pay for it. He wasn't also dealing with a financial burden and stress. He said, I think I would have paid a lot more attention to keep my wellness, because when I was younger, he goes, I was in pretty good shape and I was doing okay. But he goes, I let things get in my importance lane that were not important. I didn't have my priorities straight. And so, I know that budget and finances is often a concern, and even something that people need to look at, even if they do have money, because we need to always make sure that our priorities are being, looked after. That's why I start with the breathing and the drinking water, because those are things, if people are not willing to breathe and drink water, I could sell them the most expensive supplements in the world, but is it really going to help them? Right? It's probably not going to do them as good of a benefit if they are breathing and drinking water. So if you want supplements to help your life, start by breathing, start by drinking water. And then as we do those things, I find that our intention and our energy sort of brings in more finances to support that next level of our goal. And I do have so many supplements to recommend for people based on their own wellness goals. And so that's something that I would be happy to talk with people, in a small group, if it's a family or one-on-one or something that supports. But you're right, Melissa, nature designed us to run on food. We're supposed to get what we need to get from food. And so the supplement that I recommend widely across the board is a food-based supplement. And it's been fermented so that it's got so much nutrients in like this little tiny package. And it's got vitamins, minerals, nutrients, amino acids, greens, berries, phytonutrients, probiotics, digestive enzymes, and omega-3, 6, 7, and 9. And so it's a very complete mineral multivitamin that you would pay hundreds of dollars for if you bought these all separate. Probably $300 or $400, I think, is probably the actual value that's condensed into these. And it's about $100 per month. So, if somebody wanted to take double the amount, it would obviously cost them double. But if people just want to take one every day, it's going to be about 100 Canadian per month to support that. but the difference it makes in your energy and your vitality and the way that your body functions and the way that your life unfolds, you can't put a cost on that. You can't put a value on that. I have people who order it 6 months at a time because they travel or they go here or they go wherever and they don't want to run out. And so I think it's really important that we just focus on one thing at a time. And there are so many options to meet our goals. But if we just start with one core supplement and one core nutrient, then we sort of get that into our routine and we get better and better as time goes on.
I think that's a great message, and especially looking for quality supplements. If we're going to spend money on these, it's important to always do our research. I mean, this goes for everything. Read the ingredients on everything, know where your food came from, and start to understand your body so you can understand the supplements that you need. So I know I'm definitely going to book some time to sit down with you. That's definitely where I'm at in my journey. Is I'm going to invest in this vessel first. It's the only one that I've got. And definitely that resonates with me about the story you had mentioned about that man. And I think that's such a great story for us to think about, because we don't care until it's too late, right? And we find all these other things to distract ourselves with and to spend money on. And I think about the crazy amounts of money I spent on things that did not serve me at all. And now I feel like I've come to this place where I've totally reprioritized how I spend my money, and everything's very intentional. And the first thing I'm going to look at is, how can I fuel and heal myself and give me the best quality supplements or food or water for that matter. Like I'm even at that point where I'm starting to research and put more research into the quality of water I put into my body, because what else is more important? The supplement or the vitamin that you were mentioning, what's the name of that, Melissa?
That's called Core Complete. And it's called Core Complete because it's our core nutrients and it's the complete nutritional foundation. And so I know that everybody is working on their different goals. And so there's a host of different things that can support all different aspects of that health and wellness, but we need to start at the core. And so Core Complete is the complete nutritional foundation. It's the first thing that we all need. And then once that's a part of the everyday daily routine, we can add everything else in that you need that's going to support your own wellness goals. But everybody needs Core Complete.
Perfect. So I definitely want to book something with you. And if anyone else wants to book with you, can provide that information. You said you'll have your phone number as well and your Tuesday classes. I know I thought I would try to do this in 30 minutes, and even that was a challenge and we went a little bit over, but there's just so much that I really want to talk to you about. The reason I wanted to interview you is because you are a billboard for health. You don't have to say a whole lot. I mean, I'm lucky enough, I know your story, and that speaks wildly for itself, but to look at you and how strong you are, how healthy you are, how you've taken care of yourself through all of this, I think just speaks volumes. And you're a role model for me. So you were the first person that I wanted to sit down with and say, what are you doing? What are your routines? How do you deal with the same stress that we're all going through, the same challenges that we're all going through, and still maintaining your vitality, your vibrancy, your mental acuity and clarity? You know, we live in a time where that is so fundamental, and yet so many people struggle with that. You hear about brain fog all the time. You hear about dementia being such a serious thing right now. So it's important, I think, to talk to people like you, share the stories of sharing these stories that highlight how the body really heals when you give it what it needs. And it's really simple and really fundamental. And I just think you're such a great role model and advocate for healing and wellness in general. So thank you so much, Melissa. Is there anything else before we go and sign off that you would like to share with our friends and our family here?
Well, I'll just quickly say that the way that I get through my day and the way that I'm my most healthy and best self and working towards my goals is really honestly just following those 7 steps. And I'm not immune to things happening. My body is resilient enough to move through things instead of to get stuck by them. And I think that comes on the way that we take care of ourselves. It comes in the way that we move our body. And it also comes in the people that we surround ourselves with. It's our community. And so I would invite people to contact me through you. I can give my phone number. Do you want me just to give it now?
Sure.
Okay, so it's 403-461-2423. And I would love to speak to people one-on-one. I would also love to speak with them on a 3-way call with Melissa, because, as we work as a community, then we can bring other people into the community. And it's good one-on-one, but it's also good in a little small group of 3 or 4 people. And, we stay accountable and we all make suggestions, and, we learn from each other. And so this is something that if you're going to commit to a wellness lifestyle and you're going to put effort in and you're going to make an investment of time and energy and effort, that we want to stay accountable to this. And so, if a couple or a mother and daughter or, different people in the family or friends want to do this together, I really recommend they do their wellness, journey, linking arms and come together. But contact me, because you guys, try out the free options first, right? The breathing class is free. The drinking water is free. Even being more mindful about what you're already eating at the grocery store and making decisions about things that you feel good about, that can be free, right? It's not going to cost you any more to make better decisions and just put those good decision glasses on. I'm going to make the best choices possible, or just making minor changes. But I think, just decide that you want something different and just be willing to do what it takes, and then see what happens from there. And, it didn't take you, one day or 1 month or 1 week to get into this situation. If you're dealing with something, it takes time to develop. It also takes time to heal. So we need to give ourselves the grace of time and the ability to just go with the flow. So I welcome anybody in your group to get in touch with me through you. I would welcome you to text me either for the 7 steps or the core complete, or to book an appointment so that we can do a deep dive conversation.
Yes, thank you so much. I will be doing all that, and I hope other people follow. And thank you so much for your time. This was such a joy, such a learning opportunity, such a reminder for so many simple things. And like you said, these things are really free. And so thank you so much. I hope you have a great evening, and let's do something like this again soon.
Awesome. Thanks, Melissa.
Thank you. Bye.